If you watch this channel, there is a high chance that, like me, you love learning about sex. I would consider myself a complete sex nerd, although I would consider it more aspirational and enthusiastic. I can see all of the sexual knowledge like up here, and I'm like here, but I'm getting there. There's just so much to read and do and So if you want to nerd out about sex and maybe learn a little more, I have compiled a list of resources for you. These are also resources for me. My list comprises of websites, podcasts, articles, YouTube channel, all sorts. We've got a variety. This isn't just a reading list. The first resource that I want to talk about is Sex Geekdom, which is a non-hookup space for all sex nerds, basically. Sex geeks, sex geekdom. You get it? If you head to their website, you can see a list of all of the different cities all around the world that have a sex geekdom group. If you don't see your city there, perhaps you could make your own. But Sex Geekdom is just a great place to start to meet like-minded individuals and to talk about sex and discuss things and share information and all of that. Would recommend. The next resource is a website called Bish. Now this has so much information for teenagers and young people all about sex and relationships and sexual health. It covers everything. This is an incredible resource. And for those sex geeks, sex nerds that are maybe a bit older or work professionally within the sex and relationships industry, there is a side site, Bish Training, which has loads of resources about how to work with young people around sex and relationships. It is absolutely incredible. So if you're a teacher, that would be a great resource to use. If you are a student, maybe direct your teachers towards the Bish Training website to help with sex ed classes and stuff like that. So the guy who runs the Bish websites is called Justin Hancock, and that leads me on to my third resource, which is Justin's podcast with his friend Dr. Meg John Barker, who is an academic, a therapist, all sorts of amazing things, and together they host the Meg John and Justin podcast. So the Meg John and Justin podcast is all about sex and relationships, and it's just so great just to listen to two friends like having a conversation about it, but coming from a very professional background of the whole topic. One thing that really blew my mind was in their episode about no. We put so much emphasis when teaching sexual consent, just say no, when actually in other parts of life and society, we actually find it really hard to say no. If someone invites us to a party that we really don't want to go to, we'll say I'm busy or I can't, I'm washing my hair. We'll come up with so many excuses because as people, we hate saying no to other people. We fear being rejected, and also we hate rejecting other people. So if in non-sexual context we find it really hard to say no, then why are we teaching people to just say no in sexual contexts? That doesn't make sense, and it's really difficult to do. Consent is a willing, enthusiastic yes. Just remember that. So yeah, listen to that podcast. Would recommend. The next resource on my list is the YouTube channel Sexplanations, which is hosted by my friend Dr. Lindsay Doe. It is incredible. Lindsay is a clinical sexologist, and that channel just has everything. Use that channel as a search engine. Go into all videos and there's a little search bar at the top and just search a topic that you're worried about or whatever it is you want to learn more about, and there's probably a video for that. I have learned so much from that channel, and when things prop up in my life, that is like my first point of call. I'm like, did Lindsay do a video on this? It will help. The next thing, which is for extra nerd points, is looking up some university courses and reading lists. If you know a specific topic that you are interested in, there are universities all over the world that do courses in sexuality, in gender, LGBTQ plus history, undergraduate, postgraduate. There is so much. If you're not planning on actually doing any of these courses, but you do want to learn more, then you can look up all of the different modules online. Universities have like all of the detail there, and they'll have the email address of the tutor who organises that course or that module, and sometimes there'll be reading lists online, but you could just email that tutor being like, hey, what is the one book that you think all of your students should read? I know a lot of academic books can be sparse and expensive, but you can get a lot secondhand or as ebooks, or Google Books is a great place. That's for some extra nerd points. You get even more nerd points if you read those books and they don't sit on your shelf forever. Looking at you, Hannah Witton. Read those damn books. The next thing is Eventbrite. Now, you have probably heard of Eventbrite if you have gone to any events or bought tickets or registered for free events. But you can also use Eventbrite as a search engine to find events around a particular topic in your area. For example, you can just search sexuality in London and all of these events will show up. You can select if you want to go to a free one, but sometimes there are paid ones, and you can find something that interests you. Obviously, this isn't just relevant to sex nerds or anything, but if you're into whatever it is that you are into, do a little search on there and you'll find events to do with that. Sometimes they are like actual lectures and seminars that are put on by universities for free that anyone can attend. Just so you know. My last resource, which I actually only just found about this morning, it is my new obsession and I can't wait to dive further into this website, The Whores of Yore. If you didn't know, I did history as my undergraduate degree and I specialised in the history of sexuality, and The Whores of Yore is basically history of sex geek heaven. The website was created by Dr. Kate Lister and it is a literal dream for someone like me. She has her blog where she writes all sorts of cool stuff to do with sexual history, and then there are loads of academic articles that are hosted on there too, and then there's a whole section that is just a reading list, and I love reading lists. They also make me feel really inadequate, but I love reading lists. There are a couple books on her reading list that I already have not read, so maybe I need to start with those before I then buy any more from the list. I'm not sure what else I can tell you about the website because I've only spent this morning rummaging around on it, but I'm very excited to get involved. That is it for my list of resources for sex geeks and nerds out there. I hope at least one of them maybe sparks your interest and you'll have a look into it a bit more. Please, 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 if you have any of your own recommendations for us fellow sex geeks, websites, podcasts, books, anything, leave them in the comments section below. I just want to know everything and I can't, and the struggle is real. Am I a Ravenclaw? No. Also having an identity crisis over here. Thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe because I make new videos every week. Bye!